Hey, welcome. This is the Tom Bentey Media Podcast, and I am here with Matthew Fernicola of the Foes of Fern rock band out of Asbury Park. They had a really great show last night at the Stone Pony. So I'm a friend of, we have a mutual friend, Rob Ciano, who's a big director out of Asbury Park, and I know he directed some music videos for the Foes of Fern. And I just got onto their stuff through social media, through YouTube. Really great up and coming band. If you check out their stuff on YouTube and on different audio outlets, just really cool stuff. But let's just get right into it. Matt, first I want to talk about the show last night. Legendary venue. I'm a huge Springsteen fan, so obviously a big time to be at the Stone Pony in Asbury Park. Tell us about the show last night.
Yeah, all right. Well, first of all, thank you, Tom, for having me on this interview, and shout out to my roommate who's trying to peek on and get into the interview right now. Danny, close the door. All right, sick. But yeah, so the show last night, awesome. It was a Halloween party because I'm not sure when this is going to be released, but right now it's the day before Halloween. So yesterday, all these different bands locally. Just pretended to be other bands. People have been doing these shows for a while. So Olivia Beck was Nirvana, and then Natalie Farrell was Jennifer Lopez, and I also play for Natalie, so I'm her guitarist. Daughter Visions was Devo. Des and the Swagmatics was Donna Summers. Us, the Foes of Fern, we were My Chemical Romance, and the last band was Mr. Ticklehands as Jock Jams. So I'm not in any way, shape, or form a My Chemical Romance fan. I'm into the music at all, but I gotta say it was the most fun I've ever had on stage. And I've played hundreds and maybe even like 1,000 shows at this point, and like there was something about the energy just being in the room with all these like emo kids that like grew up with My Chemical Romance for the last 20 years, and they're just screaming the lyrics at us. And we're a big production. I got like my horn players, I got 3 guitars, keyboards, percussion, 5 extra vocalists. So it's just like this big energy, and like on top of that, the rehearsal process to get that show ready, because it's not easy music. It's not difficult in the sense that the parts, each individual part's hard, but there's a lot of moving parts. So even when there's a lot of moving parts and there's simple moving parts, you still got to piece it together. And it took like 2 months for us to really get that 30-minute set down. And now I'm just like sitting here the next day, we're never going to play that set again. So we just spent the last 2 months just like hammering in this My Chemical Romance music. Only like 2 people in the band actually like My Chemical Romance. So it was like a whole thing. But like, I'm so happy we did it because it was a freaking blast. And yeah, it was playing to like a packed Stone Pony. I don't know if it was sold out or not, but I would say it felt sold out. I don't freaking know. Like it was awesome. It was awesome. And now, like, I have black nails now. Like, wearing eyeliner for the first time in my life. I had, like, the girls in the band doing my makeup. Like, it was a whole thing. It was good. Yeah.
Cool. So who are your influences? Like, growing up, what are the influences of your band now?
Now and growing up, very different. Growing up, I was, as you said before, Springsteen. I was
Oh, nice.
I was like 6 years old, 7 years old. I had like a little cassette of Glory Days and Born in the USA. That was my favorite song when I was like 7 years old, Born in the USA. My uncle got me one of my guitars actually signed by Bruce Springsteen, and that's still hanging up in my parents' house. So that and Jimi Hendrix, when I was a little bit older, really taught me how to play the guitar. Like, I feel like I'm a student of Hendrix on the guitar, especially in the sense how, like, I don't really like playing scripted parts. I'll write something out, but I like when you're live to take liberties to it and to expand on it. And something I've always learned from Jimi Hendrix is even though the chorus is coming around, you don't have to play the chorus the same way. You can like hit it a little differently each time. And I like that. I like when there's growth in music. And then another early influence would be the Beatles. I was huge on the Beatles, and that's why I like having a big ensemble. Like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I want to be the Foes of Fern Lonely Hearts Club Band and have the clarinets and the tubas and the trumpets and the violins and the synths and the ukuleles and the guitars and all the different people chanting on stage. Like, if you listen to a Beatle record, like, they have an orchestra. So I'm trying to be like a little bit of a live orchestra-ish. We're building it. I got the horn section down. I got the vocal section down. The next thing to do is find steady string players. And then on top of that, find venues that'll like allow me to do all that. Because when I play locally in Asbury and I played like the Saint, like I showed up with 13 people 2 months ago and the sound guy wanted to murder me. So it's like, you got to find the right stage and the right moment for everything. And now these days, the biggest influence I have are just the people in my life, man. Like the musicians that I get to play with inside the Foes of Fern and outside the Foes of Fern, like having one-on-one sessions where you're just showing each other the little chord progressions you're coming up with and the songs that you're writing. And like, I don't know, lyrics are such a personal thing. And for a long time, I never really viewed them like that. I'm like, oh, this is just what we're saying. You know, these are just words. But like when you get to learn somebody's story and then really feel the words that they're saying, it's cool. So I really enjoy hanging out with my songwriter friends. And like nowadays, if I start writing a song, I'm like, oh, this is something my buddy Joey Henderson would do. Or let me write something just as funny as my friend Avery Mandeville will write. And like things like that. And like locally, Cranston Dean is just like one of the best singer-songwriters in my opinion in town. So like I have a couple tracks of mine, which I'm like, yo, I'm going to try to do something Cranston will do. So sorry,
Cool.
that was a long answer.
No, that was great. That was great. Where did you grow up?
Holmdel, New Jersey. So actually, back to Bruce Springsteen, he also owned a home in Holmdel. It was on Telegraph Hill Road. And me and one of my bandmates, Joe Pomerico, outside of the Foes of Fern, we run an indie record label called Telegraph Hill Records. And that's in honor of the music that Bruce Springsteen brought to Asbury Park and everything. And we're like an Asbury Park label with a whole bunch of bands: Alexander Simone, Jared Clemens, Desmond Swagmatics, Natalie Farrell, Malibu, Bobby Mahoney, Patty C, a whole bunch of bands. And I'm sorry if I didn't name everyone, but like we're a nice little indie record label. And that's because of Holmdel, New Jersey, and because of Bruce Springsteen. So Telegraph Hill Records.
Nice. That's where he wrote Darkness, I think, right?
Yeah, he did a whole bunch of like sessions there too. I have his my uncle. I'm breaking everything. My uncle gave me his book for my birthday 3 years ago, and I've never read it, but I have the book. And there's a really nice note in here from my uncle, I think. Is it in here? I lost the note. All right. Well, it was a nice note. So thank you, Uncle Jim. Really appreciate it. Last Bruce Springsteen tidbit is he also used to hang out at the Inkwell in Long Branch, New Jersey, and I used to run the open mic there. So I did read the one paragraph about the Inkwell days that he did.
Yeah, I listened to that book on audio, and it's really great. I think it tells a really personal story about Bruce, and you get more insight into his family life growing up and just his creative influences. And I think a lot of Bruce's songs are really influenced by just the area, Freehold, and the trees and the woods and just those summer nights and those winter days. It's just like he's very involved in kind of the environment and bringing that to a creative force like song.
Awesome getting inside their head, because you have a more understanding of what these words mean and what somebody went through to create these words. And that also goes into like poetry and stuff too, which I've very, very briefly starting to get into some of that as well.
Now, I listened to your songs, and it seems like there's a lot of heartache and despair and breakup in a lot of your most popular songs. Really great work. Very, not only just fun to listen to, but really deep lyrics and meaning. And I really appreciated that. So what's your creative process like? Where do you find inspiration from? How do you actually sit down and write a song?
Okay. So yeah, you've definitely, I'm gonna try to answer all this. It just might take a little bit of time. So use the power of editing if you want to. Yeah, I do write a lot I have written a lot about heartache. Those are the songs that people seem to resonate the most with me. I have just as many songs not about that. I have some songs I've written for my grandparents. I have some songs talking about the struggle of being an artist and funding yourself. Got a song for my dogs. Like, it's not just that, but yeah, the heartache is a part of it. The emotion is a part of it. There needs to be a realness towards it. So my process isn't really a process. It's a feeling that I get. I almost think of it as like a manic state where like I think I'm just like I'm in a different zone, and I'm starting to get better at understanding that I'm in this mental state, and I'll just shut everything off in my life. If I'm talking to someone and I feel this emotion coming on, if I feel inspired, conversation's done. I am running to my nearest instrument and I'm trying to get this thing out. I have my phone is just full of voice memos of me improving chords and melodies and lyrics. And once I get finish that moment, I listen back and I decide, okay, is this something worth exploring? And then I break into the more methodic of writing out the chords and the lyrics and figuring out like, you know, how to make it like more of a song, or to just belong in the trash can and it's just a piece of shit that doesn't like, it's just for me that happened in the moment. So like, but right now, the only thing in the process is one, there is no word no. I've done a good job of eliminating that from my energy. Like if I start writing something and it feels derivative, or it's something I've already spoken of, or the topic isn't cool, doesn't matter. Get the idea out fully. Get it out. Don't let the word no come in until the idea is out, and then you can trash it if you want. You can edit it. But like I've had people very close to me that I can't create around because the moment I start going somewhere, I hear no, 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 and it's just like they can't, no. That's like, if I'm giving advice right now to anyone that's trying to create, the word no does not exist until you're done creating. Then you could be like, is this problematic? Is this not actually good? But like for me, it's just being a very big positive environment. Yes, feeling the emotions and just getting them out as quickly as possible. And like I write about what I've experienced. So like when I go through a breakup or if somebody leaves my life, that is emotional towards me. I notice also that the moment I start writing for someone, they kind of leave my life. So like I'm trying not to write about people anymore and write more about experiences. So I don't like let that like trigger to me, because like I write a nice song for someone, like not a heartbreak song, just a general nice song, and then they're out of my life and I'm stuck singing it at all my shows because they're good songs. I like the songs, and like that can get a little tough.
I can see how that could be an issue and a problem if it seems like you're writing a song and the next thing you know, they're out of your life. And I guess like inside it, you almost feel like, well, am I causing this, I guess?
Exactly. Am I manifesting it?
Yeah.
100%. I'm not even, look, like my grandmother asked me for her song recently, and she asked me because I wrote one for my other grandparents, and the moment I wrote those songs for my grandparents, they all passed away. So I was like, Grandma, you're not getting a song anytime soon. Like, I'm sorry, I can't. Like fucking, I started crying. I was like, Grandma, I can't do this right now because like I don't want to manifest this thing to happen. But obviously, I've been writing stuff for her. I have some ideas. We like to play cards together. And like the problem is the only thing in my head is right now is like the last game of cards. Like the last, you don't know the last time you hang out with your buddies and get a beer, you know, the last time my bandmate, like an old band of mine had a band practice. We didn't know we were breaking up. Like you know, like I can't write this song yet. The last game of cards. Like I don't want to write that yet. So it's like, it was a whole thing.
Well, why do you think that is? Like you write songs and the next thing you know, people are out of your life, or God forbid they pass away. I mean, why do you think that is?
Maybe I'm an intense person, you know. I think that could be part of it. Also, like maybe it can just be too much for people, you know. Like it's cool, everyone wants their song, they get their song, and then it's like, oh, I got it. Like great, check off the bucket list. I don't need any more, and then they all start pouring out, and it can just be too much.
Do you think you're like tapping into something from a spiritual or metaphysical level on any realm?
No, I just feel like I have my own perspective and I'm like just commenting on it, and I like finding the humor in things. So like kind of like finding double meanings and looping it all together. And I don't know, it's like how many times can you watch your favorite TV show? You know, like how many times can you listen to their same song over and over again? And me, I'm stuck playing them all the time. Maybe these people don't want to hear it all the time. I don't know. I really don't.
Maybe it's just like the truth that you're bringing to the situation. They can't handle it, or it's just too much to a certain extent.
truth. It's not their truth. So another part of my process recently is I am trying to write from other perspectives to try to grow. Because like I have definitely been stuck at this is my perspective. This is what I went through instead of this is what we went through. So I'm pretty happy with my song Time Management, which came out recently. That's a very positive song. I'm happy with my song Ocean, which came out recently because that has nothing to do with relationships. And it's just about wanting to get the most from the world and like be the best version of yourself and not let those no's get in the way. No no's. That's kind of like my theme right now. No.
So it sounds like you're not setting aside time to just specifically write music. It sounds like it comes very sporadically.
No, yeah, because like I can't. Like if I say, hey, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna write something, I will write something, but it's never like great. I need that feeling. And certain things are going to spark that emotion for me. Sometimes it's just watching another band play. If I watch another musician do their art and they're doing it very well, like I'll start like listening to what they're doing and branching off on like kind of coming up with new ideas and like, yeah, it kind of like pushes me into a new direction. And then I'll start writing. I got like notes on my phone of just like poems and poems and poems. What was the most recent one I did? Let's see what's here. The most recent one is, it felt like to her, love was just the word. Well, babe, that's something that needed to be earned. Simple, whatever, 2 lines. But like that came to me in the moment. So I just jotted it down. I have a whole notebook of those. So yeah, it's definitely sporadic, chaotic, not organized. And I love that. I hate things that are organized. It doesn't feel like art to me. And that's just me personally. I don't like point A, point B, point C, point D, do your check marks, and here is your, your IKEA art, like that's not what it is for me. It's like there's a journey towards it. You're not gonna go straight there. You're gonna curve, you're gonna crash, you're gonna burn, you're gonna feel something, and then out of that, it's like sink or swim. Is this piece gonna sink or is it gonna swim? And I have a lot of pieces that have sunk, 100%. But I also have a bunch that I'm really proud of, and they're swimming today still.
That's great. I mean, that similar process for me. I'm not a musician, obviously, but I'm a writer, a screenwriter specifically. And really it just takes kind of that one spark, that idea that just pops in your head at some random moment. And you have to make sure that you're able to save that, because a lot of times you'll forget. So you have to save it. And now we have the technology with the iPhone. You just put it in your notes and it's just that one little spark. And then from there you can develop, who knows, like the next Star Wars or a feature film. And you just need that one spark to do it.
And it can't be manufactured. That's the only thing. Like, yeah, for me, if I'm not writing a lot, I'll go out. I'll spend a weekend somewhere else. I'll meet new people, like get to know people's journeys, get to know their stories. Like if you're having a hard time writing, it's because you're not living enough. I am not good enough to just write about something I haven't experienced and just sit down and say that I'm going to write. The way that I do it is, it works for me, is when I experience things, I talk to people, I see the world a little bit, and then something comes out of it. And it's just like, that process is beautiful to me. And that's something I don't want to lose. Like, it also goes to, why are you doing it? I have a lot of people that I've had to like just put a step away from, because they're doing it to get famous, or they're doing it because they want the vanity metrics for it. And like, the only reason to do it is because you want to do it. That's it. With anything that is not your job. Like, obviously we don't want to do our job. We got to get paid. I get that. But I don't want my art to be anything more than something that I'm doing because it is what I want to do in the moment. And like, when it's like that and you're working with people that are just doing it because it's something that they enjoy doing, like, I could sit on the couch and I can watch TV, or I can do this thing. Let me find people that are going to do this thing with me. And then let me find people that want to watch my TV shows with me too. Those are 2 separate things. Like, definitely you need both. But like, when I am creating, it's to create. No other goal. If there's any other goals, it's not genuine. And it like corrupts the art. That's kind of, I'm very passionate about this right now.
I can tell, and that's good. You have to be. Yeah, and there's, even in film too, there's a lot of individuals, I think they get into it for the wrong reason, but you have to have a perspective. You have to have a story that you want to tell, and you have to really be confident in your vision, in your creative vision, and it has to be natural. It has to be organic. It can't be forced. It can't be fake, because no one cares about that. Like, what they care about is your human, unique perspective that you're putting on this story, this song, this music, and that's what's going to resonate with the audience.
Yeah. Nobody cares is really where it comes at it. Like, you just have to do it for you, and then people will care if you do it well enough. And if you don't, that's fine. You can still love your art, even if it's not the best in the world. I have plenty of things that I've done which are trash that I love. Like I did a little podcast, and it's the worst podcast in the world, but I love it. It's just like the dumbest thing, and it makes me feel good, and that's about it. So like, if you like Cliff Bars, go check out my podcast, Cliffcast. I got 2 episodes out. Probably gonna do a third, never, but whatever. Like, that's just like, I did it because it was fun for me. Literally the only reason. Like, I can go to my job and do things I don't want to do. Like, I could do that every day. Once I'm not doing the job things, let me just enjoy my fucking life and die. Like, that's all we're trying to do, is enjoy it and then die. And that's all that we're doing.
Now, so this passion that you have for music, did you always have it? Did you pick up like a guitar when you were a kid and just never let go? Or did you have waning interest throughout your life?
It was always the guitar for some reason. I was like 5 years old when I had my first lesson. I had a great guitar teacher that stuck with me. He was more of just like a guide, in the sense, like, he let me be a little like brat for a while and not practice and hang around. And I caught the bug when I caught the bug, like 6th or 7th grade. And yeah, I always had like an image of me in my head as just like someone playing the guitar. And it almost feels like the 5-year-old inside of me is controlling life sometimes. It's been fun. It's been a fun life. I mean, yeah, I'm enjoying it. But yeah, I guess it's just something I've always wanted to do, so I'm doing it.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I think there are times where I'm like, fuck, I'm only experiencing one thing. All I'm doing is music all the time. Like, why don't I plant something? Why don't I freaking like just go out in the world and like work on a different thing besides music? I don't know. I'm turning 30, so midlife crisis.
Hey man, I'm 40. Now, what else do you have interest in? Like you said, you know, sometimes you feel totally consumed by music, which is great. You're passionate about it, but you're looking for other things at certain points. So what other things are you interested in?
I love little games, man. I'll play chess for hours. Chess is like my favorite thing outside of music, because it's like, it's one of those things where you can approach it 2 different ways. You can play chess just by reading all like the strategies, and you can learn the move. You do this, I do this, because I memorized the moves. Or you could play chess just straight improv and just go at it and like build it in the moment, and it's just chaos. And if you play against someone that is a strategy person, they hate it, because it's like, oh, but you weren't supposed to do that. Well, screw you, man. Like, I love it. I'll play chess for like hours and hours and hours. I like fantasy novels. I've been reading this series called The Wheel of Time. So that's been cool. It's like a 14-book series. I'm on book 4. And I don't know, I picked up a production assistant job on a TV show last week. And that was fun. I did it for 1 week. I don't know if I'm going to do it again. It was a lot of hours and very little pay. But I didn't do it for the money. I did it for the experience. And I'm glad I did it. But if I was going to say, like, if I stopped doing music, I think I'm at that point in life where I'd want to, like, a really just nice, small home, a plot of land. And I want to, like, I don't know, like, plant and like grow and like build it myself, because I've never done that before. I've never like used tools. So I like to journey into more of like that type of the world, building and like creating and, you know, making nice things would be great. And then burning it all at the end.
But could you ever see yourself, I mean, really giving up music? It's such a part of your life. How would that?
You don't ever give it up. You just do it when you do it, and you don't do it when I mean, like, even now when I'm gigging all the time during the week, I'm working a job. I'm not doing music there, you know? So I don't know. I don't view it as a finite ending. Like, it's just how, like, are we doing it a lot? Are we doing it a little bit? Like, you could take pauses from it. It's life. Like, I tell my friends all the time, like, hey, if you need to step away from the band for a little bit, step away. Do your life thing. Come back when it feels good. Pretty much it.
I think, yeah, that's a great point. When I was younger and you put these kind of ultimatums on yourself, well, you have to do this by a certain age or do that by a certain age. And then you realize, like, that's all nonsense. That's not how really life works. There's a lot of, I think you have to put your faith and you have to put your dedication and your hard work into whatever it is you're doing. But especially for a career in the arts, a lot of it is completely out of your control. And you have to kind of embrace that uncertainty and just have a positive outlook, a positive mindset, and just kind of go with the flow.
Dude, go with the flow, man. Live your life. And the more you live your life, the better your art will be. Constantly.
100%. Now, how did this band come to be, the Foes of Fern? And that is the Foes of you, Matthew Fernicola. So how did that band all come to be?
I mean, I started the name back in 2016, 2015, 2016, I think. I was playing in a band called Aracuda, and it was a wonderful time. I loved it. But the band ended because band ends. People wanted to go out, and I just wanted one project that no matter what, I could keep it going. If that just means I'm playing solo acoustic guitar at a coffee house a couple times a month, and that's the extent of the project, it's still alive, you know? Like we were saying before, like you come and go with it. So with that, I've created a very big open door policy where it's like, if you want to show up, just there's a base level of work you have to do. Like we have to do some one-on-one rehearsals, and we got to like practice with the band a little bit. And then after that point, if you show up to a show, great. If you don't, just let me know within like 5 hours before the gig or something. So because of that, a lot of musicians have been sticking around because they don't feel the pressure, and it's really nice. And through the years, I've had 6 different drummers. I've had 5 different bass players. And like now, if you go to a show, there's 12, 15 of us on stage, because like it's this sense of like anyone's allowed in as long as you put the work in and you hit the bar. And then after that, it'll continue on even if life pulls you away. So that's kind of how it's just been going. And I put pauses on the project. In 2017 to 2019, I was focusing on another band that I was in called the Burns. The Burns stopped playing because people wanted to go away. So that project was dead, even though I still wanted to continue that project. So I went back, put my energy into the Foes, and I just love having that. I love having that outlet where no matter what happens in life, I can stop it and start it, and we can kind of pick up without missing a beat.
And these are all, that answers my question. I understand what you're saying. Now, these are all people you're meeting in Asbury. What's the scene like there in terms of music right now?
Well, it's coming back. Quarantine definitely hit it. And quarantine was kind of a big band morale building moment for us. For that whole year, we were like just like our family. We were like 14, 15 of us like in our group chat, and we were still doing recording sessions individually, and we were playing like live stream shows. So like it made us real tight as a band, and made us real tight as friends too, which is really important. Like when you're in a band with so many members, you go to band practice. Band practice is now a party. There's 20 people at band practice. So like it's a very nice, fun atmosphere. I met all these people in Asbury. Yeah, at this point, these are all Asbury Park musicians. My current main drummer, I met at an open jam at the Asbury Lanes. We played one song together. We talked for like a minute. And after that, he was like, hey, let me know if you ever need a drummer. And then I did. And now he's playing with me. My current bass player joined the band because I needed someone, because our old bass player was open door walking out, and he reached out. He was like, yo, dude, I could just fill in. And he's been in the band for 1.5 years now. All my horn players I met out in the world. Rob Ciano introduced me to my trumpet player, Kyle. It's really awesome because like people's first gig with us is normally the first time we're meeting them. They just show up, they start playing, and then I'll ask them to keep on coming if I think they're good enough, and we put the work in and we get it there. And that's really where it is. It's just all my friends. It's the people that I've met. And even if they're not the greatest musician, we'll find a way to get you on stage if you want to put the work in. Because there's only a bar, man. You just got to hit the bar. That's it. But the music scene in Asbury is definitely coming back. House of Independence has been cool. They've been putting on a lot of shows. The Saint is back open, which is huge. The Saint's like home base for us. Small little 120-person rock club, but like it feels like fucking home. Yacht Club is open. We're playing Langosta Lounge in a couple weeks. We're playing Wonder Bar after that. So it's back. It's coming back in a nice way.
Where's the Yacht Club?
Yacht Club is right connected to Langosta Lounge. So we're playing Lango on November 13th. There'll be another band playing at Yacht Club the same night. And it's cool because you just like walk between each sets. And like there's like a little hallway. And that hallway is enough buffer where you don't hear the two sets if you're listening to the music. So it just takes like 1 minute to go between the two stages. It has like a big festival feel. It's nice.
Where, and that's, is that on the ocean or in town? It's on the boardwalk. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, that's what day of the week is that? November 13th?
November 13th is a Saturday. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try to make that, man. I'm definitely going to try to make that, yeah.
Why not? Maybe we're like joking that we're going to do the whole My Chemical Romance set again. We'll see if it happens.
But it definitely seems like Asbury's filled with artists and musicians, and it's a real happening place.
Yeah, I love living here. My house is in town. I have a bunch of fantastic roommates. We all walk to shows, and after the show yesterday, we had 30 people at the house just hanging. Like it's a very big, I don't want to say frat party college vibe because we're 30 now, but it's kind of like that. And it's a really nice moment in time. But that being said, every single Asbury musician is faced with that conundrum. Do you just stay in Asbury and just kill it here and just have a great time, or do you try to venture out into the world? And that's kind of where we're at right now. I think we want to play Asbury a little more strategically and hit the road and try to build a new fan base as well. You can always go do a homecoming show, you know?
Have you played outside of Asbury?
Yeah, Boston is a place we go to a lot. Pre-pandemic, I went to college there, so I still have a nice, solid group of friends there. We go to Pennsylvania, we go to New York, pretty much just a lot of like East Coast stuff. But I'm going to California with one of my other bands in a couple months in February. We'll be playing out there, so it's always good to get out of town.
We're LA.
LA, yeah, it's a band I play in called Little Hag. And that's just a fun project. I love that, like, with music, like, all my bands have a different environment. Like Little Hag, 5-piece rock, like feminist punk rock. Like I get to be real noisy and dirty. The Foes of Fern then is just like this like weird like indie huge ensemble with 20 people, and I get to sing in that. And then I play in this like pop group, Natalie Farrell, and we're like playing a tracks, and like she's up there dancing, and it's just like I like when each project has their own energy and vibe. It doesn't feel like I'm doing too much of the same. Because like when I'm playing the same songs constantly at shows, it gets monotonous. And like that helps break it up. Like, all right, I'm doing too much Foes of Fern music. I'm going to try to lay into some Little Hag songs. All right, too much of that. Let's go play with Natalie for a little bit. And it just keeps everything fresh.
And if you wouldn't mind, like, I think it would be interesting to learn about, like, if we could do a case study in terms of one song, where the initial idea came from, what was that initial idea, and how it all played out.
Do you have one that you want to ask me for?
Whatever one you want to talk about.
Oh man, I don't know. You no, seriously. Let me see. I'm just gonna say some titles. All right, I'm gonna say 3 titles. You tell me which title interests you the most.
Okay.
I mean, there's Bike Song, but I don't want to talk about Bike Song. Sorry about that. Time Management. I'll only do songs that are released. Only release songs. There's Time Management, April Came in the Rain, and Ghost. I guess we'll do those 3.
Well, Rob directed Ghost music video, correct? So I'm very familiar with that song. I've watched it a bunch of times. I love the song. Great. I thought Rob did a really cool job in directing the video. So why don't we talk about that?
Talk about Ghost. Cool. So that's kind of like our anthem. Like for a very long time, every show we close with Ghost. Like that's like, if everyone's known for one song in our scene, like Cranston Dean is known for The Shakes. The Mercury Brothers are known for Don Perignon. Bobby Mahoney is known for like Roaring Twenties. Like everyone has their one song. Our one song is Ghost. So I wrote it. It's a relationship song, you know, and the other 2 weren't relationship songs, but we picked the relationship song. It's fine. I wrote it after a relationship ended, literally on the girl's birthday, because we were breaking up. And she is super petty. It's petty. It doesn't matter. But, like, she threw a birthday party, and she picked the day I couldn't go to throw the party and invite all my friends to. So I'm, like, driving to Virginia because I was going to Virginia this date. It wasn't even on her birthday. Like, I could have been there on her birthday. But it's fine. I'm driving to Virginia, and the idea just came into my head. Like, I made that girl hate me, forgot her birthday, showed up a day late, sang her least favorite song. The joke in that is the least favorite song is Ghost. Like, this is a song she's going to fucking hate, and I'm singing the song to her. So, like, because she wanted a family. Like, we broke up because she was sick of going to all my open mics, and I don't blame her. She was sick of going to see Eric Kuda play 2-3 times a week. She wanted to go to dinner. Like, I should have taken my girlfriend out to dinner. Like, that makes a lot of sense. I needed the big screen, so I did the right thing and told her to move on. Like, that whole idea is we had to break up. It's fine. I'm still a petty person sometimes, so I'm going to make the joke about the birthday. The fun thing about that song, I wrote it, and the initial melody of the verse, kind of going back to the the word no doesn't exist, I was singing Every Rose Has Its Thorn. You know that awful song?
Of course, yeah.
I was singing
Poison, right?
that melody is what I was singing for the verse.
Mm-hmm.
You know that every rose has its thorn. I know that every man in this room. It was the same exact melody, but I wrote the song and then I went back and I was like, I got to change that. So I know that every man in this room, instead of I know that every man in this room. So like, yeah, but like I hate that song. I hate that song so much, and that's whatever, it's fine. But I didn't let it stop me. It was in my head, and I just like, all right, this is something I'll deal with later. But I just kind of pushed the idea out. And the idea is that we all have that high school sweethearts. Some of you married your high school sweethearts, which is beautiful. I didn't. And it's kind of reminiscent of that and talking about the life that you guys could have had and her achieving that life. So with everything, there's a base level to my songs and there's the underneath level. So it's the girl in all my song, but I wrote it about experiences that I had with 3 different exes. So it's like, it's Katie, Kelsey, and Addie in like kind of one song. Katie was my high school sweetheart. We dated for 5 or 6 years. So that's kind of where that comes from. Kelsey would be the girl in all my songs because after we broke up, that's when I started writing. And I wrote her like 6 or 7 tunes like immediately. And Addie was the girl's birthday. That song came to life at the Chubby Pickle. I played it for the first time like the day after I got back from that road trip. I just went there and we played it.
That's in Red Bank, or used to be in Red Bank?
Highlands.
Oh, Atlantic Highlands, okay.
Yeah, and there's a very iconic part to that song, which is the chorus is there's no chords. It's just the drummer going off on it. And I never planned that. I just showed up, I was playing it, and I kind of like misstrummed the first chord and I stopped. And then I just sang it over the drummer because I forgot the chords. Like I just wrote the song, I forgot the chords. And I was like, yo, that's cool. Let's keep that in there. So big shout out to Chris Russo for just keeping the drum beat going and giving me the idea to sing over a drum solo. And B, he changed the tempo also. Now that I'm thinking about it, it wasn't that like halftime kind of feel. In my head, it was just more like a, I know that every man in this room. But that's like, now thinking about it, it's just so wrong, you know? That's like a punk song. So I didn't realize I should give Chris Russo like some songwriting credits or like arranging credits on the song, because that one spontaneous jam of the song, me and him never talking about the song, created a lot to what I've been playing 5 years later. So,
well, that's interesting that that song came from another song that you hate. Yeah. And if you just to talk about.
I never thought about that. Yeah, say her least favorite song. I'm singing her Poison. That's so good.
But that reminds me of like A Star Is Born, when you have, they talk about in that film, like you really only have 12 bars to tell all of human existence through song. So even though it comes from another song that you hate, what makes it interesting is how you displayed that, and how you recreated that, because there's only so many melodies that you can really create organically. Yeah.
12 notes, bro. 12 notes. If you go to like Eastern music, you get some like semitones. So I guess there's more than 12 notes, but blues music, but it's just 12, dude. You just said it before, 12. Yeah.
And how you showcase that makes it unique. And that's what is going to really engage an audience.
Dude, even that chorus, made that girl hate me. I forgot her birthday. I showed up a day late, sang her least favorite song. That has definitely been used before. I'm pretty sure that melody, like almost verbatim, has been used before. But it's just like one of those things that like, it's just in your head. It's almost like a standard? Would that be the word? Or like a folklore song? Like you go back to like.
It sounds like an Irish like drinking song.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. The melodies is used with different lyrics, and it's just understood that it's like a folk. It's like an element of folk music. That's really is. I think there's another song called Ghost out there that someone showed me, which is very similar to the melody for a little bit actually. But whatever. It's not a huge deal. But like, I love that. I like quoting. People quote in their essays, in their freaking books. You quote all the time. You should quote in your music. If you love someone's guitar solo, quote their solo a little bit and then make it your own. Like, I don't know. That's why I really love sampling. I think sampling is the coolest thing that's happened in music. I like it a little bit more when like you play the part and then you manipulate it a tiny bit. But I just think that's so creative. I absolutely love it.
Now, just to talk about Ghost and some other songs you worked with, it seems like there's this big emotional struggle between pursuing your artistic dreams and your artistic endeavors and that safe home life. Do you see that as you're getting older, now that you're 30 and you're going into your 30s? Do you see that struggle is really kind of showcasing in your artistic life?
Yeah, and I was starting to write about it too. It's a bad idea right now. It's not a good song. I'm working on it, and I kind of put it away because it got okay and then it got bad. But I want to put my daughter into my grandmother's arms at least once in my life. You know, like I just think that would be like that's just such a powerful emotion. You know, so like yeah, definitely. And I was starting to write about that. It's like I don't know it. It's not good enough. But I was writing a song about finding new loves and a new way to appreciate life and to enjoy life. And I was trying to tie it at the end with this whole like I want to see my daughter in my grandmother's arms things. I don't know. I'm going off right now because it's not finished. It's not finished. It's like this thing in my head which is like it's in the sink or swim moment. It could swim and just be a bad idea, or it could sink and be a bad idea, or it could swim. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling that. And I've always felt like I couldn't do both for some reason. But recently I've been seeing a lot of people doing it, especially at the age where I'm at now. So yeah, I'm definitely a little forward thinking with that. I think I want.
You come from an Italian family, and your mom and your grandma are always like, where are the grandkids?
Oh yeah, my mom's Cuban, but still.
Okay.
My grandmother is Italian though. My father's Italian. Yeah, for sure. And my cousin Steve is having a kid. My cousin Annie and Johnny are having a kid. So they're doing it. They're making my grandma happy, which is great. But yeah, I think I'm closer to it. Maybe like the next couple of years, if I really find someone that I can vibe with for real.
Cool, man. Cool. Good luck with that. And finally, Matt, what's next for the band? Where do you see the band the next year, 5 years?
All right. I have no idea. I want us on festival stages. I don't where I see us as an orchestra, festival stages, playing Governor's Ball, playing Firefly. That's what I want. I don't know how to get to that, but that's what I want. In the immediate future, we're working on a little bit of a joke album, which we're calling Carpe Dos. Our first album is Carpe Diem. So I have a couple songs that I've written that are in Spanish because I'm Cuban. So we're thinking about doing a Spanish EP, and we're calling it Carpe Dos. And I'm even going to sing some songs off of Carpe Diem in Spanish. And I want that to come out on February 22nd, 2022. So 2/22/22 Carpe Dos, feel the dose. And it's just like 4 or 5 songs sung in Spanish. So that's coming up. We're tracking the second album. I'm not putting a date on that though. I just want to track it for now. And yeah, dude, I just want it to keep on growing. I want to play as much music with the people that I love until the day that I die. That's pretty much it.
That's great, man. That's a great way to end too. So thanks so much, Matt. I'm going to check you out. I'm going to try to check you out on November 13th, Saturday in Asbury at Langosta, right?
Langosta Lounge. Just hit me up if you're gonna show up, man. Yeah, I'd love to have you there. That'd be great.
Definitely will, man. All right. Thanks again. We'll talk soon, brother.
Thank you.